Meanwhile, the Iranian human rights activist Narges Mohammadi has won this year's Nobel Peace Prize. The 51-year-old campaigner has faced multiple arrests. She spent time in prison, most recently for attending a memorial for a person killed in the 2019 protests. Judges handed Ms. Mohammadi the prestigious award for what they say was her fight against the oppression of women in Iran and her fight to promote human rights and freedom for all.
Her brave struggle has come with tremendous personal cost. Altogether, the regime has arrested her 13 times, convicted her 5 times, and sentenced her to a total of 31 years in prison and 154 lashes. Ms. Mohammadi is still in prison as I speak.
Joining me now is Sheiva Mahboubi, a former political prisoner herself, now a spokesperson for the campaign to free political prisoners in Iran. Very good afternoon to you. We say the award was handed to her, but of course she's in prison. She can't receive it.
Exactly. I mean, this is in some way, it's really sad, such a prestigious award, and she can't actually be there and receive it. And that's the story of many female political prisoners, that their fight been recognized, but unfortunately they cannot be there. They're not allowed to, I must say. But I think it's a great news. I think it's important to remember that this is a recognition of and an achievement for all the women in Iran, because there are many like Narges Mohammadi who've been fighting. I mean, Narges been fighting for years. Remember last year in 2022, she had heart surgery and she was forced to go back to prison. She's been deprived of seeing her twin, and sometimes even the regime didn't allow her to speak with them. And I guess many female political prisoners like Narges are very outspoken. And this says something to the world, that while the regime is cracking down on the protesters, and especially women, and there is a gender persecution, gender apartheid in Iran, women being outspoken even inside prison. Last year, Narges Mohammadi was exposing the regime for the sexual torture toward the women in Iran. And I'm very much hoping such a prestigious award raise more awareness regarding what's happening right now. As I speak right now, there is a 16-year-old Armita Geravand who was attacked by hijab police just last week, and she's in a coma. We could face another Mahsa Amini. So I think this is really important to remember that this is an award for all women in Iran, and I'm hoping raise more awareness, and hopefully we face more pressure on the regime to free all political prisoners.
Yeah, indeed. And tell us a little bit more about Narges, if you would. I mean, how has she come to be this prominent human rights activist over decades?
I think as in Iran, especially when you're a woman, you do not have a choice. You either have to follow what they say, which many women don't, or you fight for your basic right, literally your basic right. And Narges has been fighting for that, has been outspoken from prison, has been refusing to actually accept what they said. One of the charges just recently they did against her, that she didn't obey what the head of the prison said. Going on strike, or hunger strike, this is one of the crimes. So I guess Narges is like many other women, been fighting for years and years. And I guess this shows that this women life revolution is a woman-led revolution. And I guess if one of the, for example, prisoners, female prisoners, Sepide Qolian, who was released, she refused, and then she was arrested again because she was chanting against the regime. I'm giving you this example because she is actually in the same prison as Narges, giving you an example like someone like Narges. So Sepide came out of the Evin prison and chanted against the regime. She was arrested and given 2 more years. When she was asked to go to court, she said, I refuse to wear hijab. And I guess when you look at that, this is a bravery of women in Iran. And Narges is also one of them, that I'm really glad that she got this recognition.
Do you think that she will be told of her award in prison?
She will be told by her family, obviously. She will be told by her family. And as far as I know, her sister had a visit and even asked her if there is such a thing that you might wear, like if in case you are candidate. Obviously, they know that they are being nominated. And she even sent out a message, told the sister, a message that to be read, and it was on the social media, just to say that I'm not going to give up fight for human rights.
There was another very well-known to UK public, famous prisoner in Evin prison, Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe. She stood in solidarity with her as well, didn't she, Narges?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. They went on hunger strike, and also in the Evin prison, there is a female ward that they are all together and they know each other. Then they have this solidarity to support each other. And I guess this is quite important. While you see people on the street and they're fighting, especially women fighting against hijab, these women in prison just a while ago, they actually burned their hijab in defying the Islamic regime. So it's really...
Shiva, sorry to interrupt you, but the protests seem to have captured sort of global attention, and it feels like it's dropped off the global agenda. I mean, where is the whole movement in Iran, and does it feel to the women protesting like the world has forgotten about them?
Well, yes, we think that women, maybe world has been desensitized, I must say, not forgotten. But at the same time, even though you don't see lots of protests on the street, but the fight is going on in different form and shape, including not wearing hijab. That's what lots of women in many cities doing. We just had the anniversary of killing Mahsa Amini, and we had the anniversary of the massacre in Zahedan that people actually protested. So while that's not, we don't see too many protests in that way, but the protest is still going on in a smaller scale, maybe. And at the same time, I think we have to remember this revolution has different forms. And one of them is women being on the street against hijab, not wearing hijab, knowing that they're going to be killed. As I said, Armita is 16 years old, now in a coma, knowing that she's going to be attacked. But that was her fight, continuing those protests of last year, going to the metro in Tehran and being killed for not being attacked for not wearing hijab. So it's still going on. And I want to say that even though we don't see it on the TV anymore, not that much, but at the same time, the protest is still going on. There are lots of strikes by teachers, by retirees, and we need to remember we are talking about the country that when it was the anniversary of Jina Mahsa Amini, the city of the hometown of Jina was occupied by security forces.
Okay, Shiva, Mahboubi, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but we are out of time, but really good to get you on Sky News.